Hello, and welcome to the Lions Den podcast on a Wednesday night. Here to talk about everything Club Leon in English. Obviously, our jornada started just on Monday, as we haven't heard of the Mazatlan game getting rescheduled yet, but hopefully we'll know. I know my dad keeps asking me. I'm like, don't know anything yet. But we'll see what happens with that. But yes, welcome. If you guys are joining us via Twitter and YouTube, hello, welcome. Let us know what your thoughts are throughout the show. Feel free to comment. We'll definitely share all the comments on screen. Join the conversation. If you agree, if you disagree, anything different, anything that we haven't mentioned, feel free to definitely drop in the comment section. So, yeah, here to talk about what happened Monday at Larcamon. Obviously, we found out about Chapito, so definitely have lots to talk about that and anything else leading into our next jornada. So, gentlemen, how are we feeling today, post game?
Wasn't our best showing, but they got the job done.
It's 3 points. A win is a win.
Against an inferior opponent at home, something they struggled with horrendously last season. So just the fact alone that they managed to get their bearings straight in the second half and take care of business is very encouraging.
Yeah, the first half was a little weird, kind of strange. It seems like they came out a little rusty.
Understandably so.
Absolutely, understandably so. They look like a team that's kind of just trying to get it together with this new coach and a bunch of new players. So, yeah, I mean, second half, it kind of clicked for us, even though Necaxa was parking the bus on us. We still managed to get two really good golazos and came out of there with a win, 3 points.
They were parking the bus, but their defense is horrible. Just their back line. I had forgotten that Jose Carlos Van Rankin had been one of their star refuerzos. If he's one of your star refuerzos, that is not good news, considering how he played for my Portland Timbers over the past couple seasons. And I'd forgotten also that Lilini coaches Necaxa now. So I was I completely forgot about that. So I was happy to see that Estadio Leon continues to be a house of horrors for Lilini, whether he's with Pumas or Necaxa. That was a nice little added bit of joy there.
Yeah, it's a little weird seeing him with that Necaxa apparel on. I'm always going to remember him as being the Pumas head coach. And
he was the most successful Pumas head coach since who knows when.
Yeah, and he's 0-2 with Necaxa now, so not a very good start for him and his squad.
And even before he was with the big club in Pumas, he was with the Fuerzas Básicas. I mean, he was with that institution for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, Necaxa is one of these teams that does really good scouting. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to have any issues bringing up some good players under him.
Yeah, but who knows how long his patience will last? Because that's a buying and selling club. They are great scouting. They know exactly who will do well in Liga MX, but as soon as they generate any sort of value, they get sold off. That's the problem with that club.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't done that well in a while.
I mean, Davila came out of there, right?
He did.
Davila came out of there, so...
Davila came out of there.
Trying to think who else.
Well, Canelo Angulo came out of there.
Canelo Angulo.
I don't know I don't think he started there, but he definitely passed through there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a buy and sell team.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the most interesting thing about this game was that all the hubbub that was made about the refuerzos and everything, and not a single refuerzo started the match. I mean, unless you count Yael Uribe. I mean, he was the only player who wasn't with the club last season. He's not really a refuerzo because he's part of the cantera.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he was the only starter that we wouldn't have expected to see with Paiva last season. So all this made about we got all these great refuerzos and none of them played. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure exactly what to make of that. Does it just mean we're just going to have a way deeper squad for two tournaments? Or, I mean, are these refuerzos that can eventually start working themselves in as starters? Or I mean, is Larcamon going to try to keep the base like as we know it, and then have all those guys available on the bench for when he needs them? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. That was the most interesting takeaway for me from this.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a surprising starting 11, especially in that right back position. He was playing right back, right? Carrilero.
Yes.
On the right.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I think he preferred Yael Uribe over Ivan Moreno, because Uribe was already part of the cantera. It's his turn. It's like, okay, your numbers up. Go, like you're up. Show me what you can do. And I mean, the great thing about this team right now is that we have so much competition. So Uribe
internal
knows
competition.
Internal competition. So Uribe knows if he doesn't perform, there's a guy right there, right behind him, ready to take his position.
Well, there's a guy right behind him who came in and played 30 minutes and made the Liga MX best 11 for the week. I mean, that's the kind of competition that we're talking about. So I mean, I think Uribe, he's the kind of player who needs a little bit of time and space. They need to give him a little bit of trust to make some mistakes. He had a very egregious one early on in this match, as we all know. So I mean, I don't think Moreno coming in and having this one good 30 minutes is going to necessarily take Uribe's spot right away. I think they're going to give him some more opportunity. But you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of internal competition, and that can do nothing but good things for the squad. I think, seeing such a familiar lineup despite all the refuerzos, I think Larcamon kind of wanted to play it safe and go with a squad that knows each other well, guys that have played with each other a lot for this first outing, especially against a team that's not you can afford to as we saw, you can afford to not play your best half plus and still come out with a win against a team like Necaxa. So yeah, I mean, I like to think as the weeks go on, some of these refuerzos estelares that we brought will eventually start working their way into the starting lineup, especially the ones that came in. Perro Romero made his debut. He didn't play very many minutes, but I could see him. I predicted he would start. He did not, but he got some minutes. I could see him getting more minutes as all these guys get a little bit more accustomed to each other and get more training together.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these refuerzos really have they really still have to prove themselves. Whether or not they've done it to Larcamon in practice is a different story, but I trust that Larcamon chose the best 11 based on what he's seen in practice and based on the chemistry between these guys. And if he felt like some of the refuerzos needed to come off the bench, then so be it. I mean, that just makes our bench deeper, and it makes it so we don't have to look at the bench and think like we don't have anybody to sub in. I don't know if you guys remember 2-3 seasons ago, we literally had no one coming off the bench, and now we have 5 or 6 like solid players. Joel Campbell can come off the bench. El Perro can come off the bench. Ivan Moreno, like there's so many good players that can come off the bench right now that are solid players.
Yeah. I mean, that should bode well as, the slog of the season gets going and players start to get tired. A lot of matches in a short amount of time. Having that kind of depth is a depth we haven't really seen in a long time.
Looking at the lineup, and I know you guys already had mentioned there was pretty much the same base. Cota, Barreiro, Tecillo, who's captain now, Osvis, Fidel Ambris, Yael Uribe, Jefecito, Jairo, Angel Mena, Victor Davila, and Iorio. I was kind of questioning Mena starting, but then he didn't have a bad game in the end.
Yeah, I was frankly questioning whether he should even be on the team anymore at this point. I think I wasn't the only one. But, he had the disappointment of not seeing a single minute at the Mundial, despite the fact that he was kind of like, we all kind of felt like he was kind of saving his energy for that all of last season, and trying to avoid injury and things like that. And there was speculation about that. And then he didn't play a single minute in Qatar. But now, he's not gonna be going to any other mundiales. The only thing he has left is his club. So if he's still gonna be here, he might as well play as well as he can. And he had a good game. Props to him. I think maybe he's got one last, hopefully more, but at least one last really quality season left in him.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue was with this guy during the World Cup and why he didn't play, but I think it was just the bovitis that he was suffering from, or that nagging injury from last season that was kind of just, it almost kept him out of the end of the season, and he almost had to get surgery for it, but it looks like he's back to 100%, scored a goal.
A very nice goal.
Yeah, golazo. Yeah, and he didn't look like he was struggling to get up and down the field. But yeah, that was actually a surprise. But again, Larcamon chooses the best 11 that he thinks are the best 11 to start, and he chose Mena, and again, he showed out. That was a good game by Mena.
Good game by Mena. What do you guys think about Jairo?
It's one of his best games as a Club Leon player, in my opinion. He was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
he was everywhere.
He could single-handedly take over the game.
Yeah, and he was doing it in a way that was. I mean, he wasn't looking to get his. He wasn't trying to take those long shots that always go miles over the bar. He just he wasn't trying to. He was trying to get his teammates. Everything that he was doing was with the intention of getting his teammates involved, and that was the most encouraging thing about it. But he was everywhere. His duels, his tackles, everything was on point for him. Very, very good game from him.
Yeah, I think maybe the weakest link from this starting 11 was Jairo Uribe, and I think it was just his inexperience.
Yeah,
that kind of made him stand out from the rest, right? He's the new guy, the rookie, I guess. I don't even know how old he is. I assume he's like under 20.
He's 18.
18.
18,
I mean, he's
born in Leon.
Yeah, still very, very young. Still has to learn a lot. But yeah, I think he was the only one that didn't look that great. Everyone else, to me, looked very, very solid, especially Ambris in that center back position. I mean, he looks great right there. Somebody said he's the next Rafa Marquez for us right there if he keeps playing that way.
I mean, he's got a long way to go to get that labeling.
Yeah,
but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
He's only 19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 now, but still.
Yeah.
So I know Carlos, you watched the whole full Tribuneros. I only watched maybe 15, 20 minutes before I got distracted with something else. But one thing that I heard they were saying about how this time on the bench there was a lot of physical therapists icing everybody, because there was just so much intensity that Larcamon was wanting from these players. They were just al 100, so these players were definitely on the tired side.
Yeah.
After
I think Romo said that, right? Romo was there was a lot of guys getting massages, iced knees, iced ankles, and I mean you would expect that from a team who's been off since how long have we been off for? 4 months? That was a very long off season. What is November, right? I think it was November.
Early November. Yeah.
That's a very long off season. I mean, we're used to having 2-3 weeks off and then we're right back at it into preseason. That's a long time to be off. Yeah. And so it's going to take maybe 2 or 3 games for these guys to get back to 100%. But I don't think anyone got injured, right?
Barreiro did.
Barreiro, yeah. Which I mean, I think his days are coming, and I was very upset. I was like, why isn't Belon starting? When I saw the lineup, and then when I was like, oh, Barreiro's at put Belon, and that's exactly.
Well,
what happened.
I wondered why Frias wasn't even convocado. Hopefully, he will be for Pumas.
Yeah. Could it be one of the extranjero rules?
Well,
I think you can only have 10 extranjeros on the bench, right? Or convocados.
Maybe.
And we have.
I was thinking maybe it still has something to do with Celestin, who hasn't left León. He's not registered with the team anymore, but he's still
training.
He's still training at La Esmeralda. Like I don't know. I can't imagine that would have anything to do with it, but it might. There could be
Maybe
some kind
something
of
with his, I don't know, visa or something like that, or paperwork. I don't know. I guess we just don't really know.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I would have went, and then, when Belon came in for him, it was like, I hope you're okay, Barreiro, but this is kind of what we wanted anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a luxury to have, though. Like, you sub out Barreiro and you go, oh, let's sub in our rookie of the year from last season. And
it is.
I mean, that's a great internal competition, and I'm pretty sure Barreiro's game is gonna step up just a little more because he knows there's somebody behind him that's looking for him to mess up so he can take that position. All these guys are Jefecito too. Jefecito has El Perro right behind him, not literal, but the El Perro Romero. Tecillo, another one. Osby, another one. Uribe. Mena has Campbell right behind them. Who else do we have? Di Llorio has El Plátano behind him. Like, there's a lot of internal competition. I'm pretty excited for this team.
There is. I think in the aspect
you got guys like Davila and Canelo and Brian. What's his name? Brian Rubio.
Brian Rubio. Yeah. I'm forgetting a lot of names.
Which I honestly, I I mean, we'll see. But I didn't find the point of bringing Brian Rubio, to be honest. I mean, we have Di Llorio. I know Plátano is just a préstamo, but I don't know. I was questioning another striker.
Rubio's
seems I don't know. I think they think of Rubio as a guy who, like, he's had some decent moments playing for lower tier clubs, but he's kind of fell out of favor. Kind of a, what do you call it? A reclamation project. Like, maybe in a new environment, change of scenery, he can turn into a useful piece. I mean, we're gonna start to have a lot of matches coming up, and we can use all the useful pieces we can get.
Yeah,
definitely. Shout out to Arturo Ruiz saying saludos. Ivan Moreno should start on Sunday. He's a straight up baller. No, he really was. Like,
he was on Saturday,
taking
on
over
Monday.
the field.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a joy.
I think it was like last week sometime. I went on YouTube and I just looked up his highlights with Mazatlan, and I was like, wow, this guy's a baller. Like, this guy's good. He can run. He's really fast. So I also want to see him start. I just want to see him play 90 minutes to see what he can do for us. And that being said, if this guy can somehow lock up that right back position, what happens to Byron Castillo?
Yeah, he might have trouble working his way back in.
Yeah.
They're saying what was I read today that they expect him to be back by the end of February or something like that. So it's not going to be like a whole season thing. His injury. So, but that'll just add more to the internal competition that you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Carlos. Yeah.
I mean, it's fun, but then
go on.
I was gonna say it's fun to have this internal competition, but I mean, we that's a big investment on Byron Castillo that we may not get back. It's just kind of money badly spent.
Yeah, well, he hasn't performed up to expectations, and I think the general, I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but I get the feeling that people think whatever the courts have ruled, that he actually is older than 23.
Isn't he like 2 years older?
I think it was like either 23 or 27. And in terms of, transfers in the market, the mercado and everything like that, that's an enormous difference. So I think
so what age did he use to transfer him? Like, what age, like his real age or his age on paper?
I mean, front offices are not stupid. It doesn't really matter what it says on paper. I think people are under the impression that he's older than it says on his birth certificate. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have. It's a bizarre situation. The point is, I think you're right, Carlos. I don't think we're going to make back our investment on him when we do eventually part with him.
Well, that's the thing with Celestine, because we signed him for what, 3-4 years, and now we're like this, the struggle of trying to find him un equipo mientras, because they bought his card.
Yeah, but he's not. His investment, that investment wasn't as big as Byron Castillo. What did Byron cost? Like
how much
3
was
million?
Byron?
It was I think it was 3 to 5 million, somewhere around there, and Celestine was less than $1 million. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not the
bring
same
Celestine
degree.
back.
It's not the same degree of investment.
Arturo also said, I feel bad for Uribe because he wasn't playing his position. He had the penalty. Hopefully, Larca uses him more because he's a gem in the making.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah,
I can see that. I mean, he's still young enough that this could become his position. Like if he starts getting a lot of reps there, they can mold him into a lateral.
Y supo que la regó on that penalty. He was just like, oh, like he didn't even say
yeah,
anything. He knew he messed that up. But I
yeah,
mean, it's those things where you have to, like when you're teaching a kid how to drive, the parent has to be on the other side and you have to let them go. Like you have to let them make mistakes, and that's the only way they're going to learn. That's the only way that they're going to be able to win a
exactly.
position.
Yeah,
So, but
exactly.
we'll see what happens. I think we're still wanting to see, was it Cervantes that we all fell in love with when he played against ¿cómo se llama?
Against
Tigres.
Tigres, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Another
deal with
good.
him is. I think he was injured during the preseason, and I don't know if he's recovered yet or not. And if he
Really?
has, it looks like Uribe might be a better option for Larcamon. I think he liked him better.
Yeah. Definitely so. Moving on, let's talk about something that came up, which I think, we've all had mixed feelings about, because obviously we know how Chapito Montes was, the last player from that era, where we were in La Segunda for 10 años y regresamos, and, we made this big jump back into La Primera, and Chapito Montes said, goodbye for now, farewell. He is heading to Everton in Chile, which I was really surprised by that. I was like, because we were all questioning, what's going to happen?
Extremely surprised.
Very
is he going to, is this his last game? Is he going to retire? Is he not going to leave to another club? I was stunned.
Well, I mean, it goes to show that the guy, perhaps stubbornly so, really wants to keep playing. I mean, I don't think he has nothing left to prove in his career at this point. But the guy feels like he still has more left to give to this game. And at first I was like, dude, this is not good for your legacy. Just retire. You have nothing more to do. You don't have to do this. Like, just retire as a Club player. But I mean, if he still has that itch and he still thinks he can contribute to a club, then, who are we to criticize him for that? And the move to Everton makes sense because, it's part of Grupo Pachuca. And I'm certain the market for Chapito Montes at this point is not much of anything. I mean, to be quite honest, to be fair.
Well, he did say at the end of the game he was interviewed. He said that there were offers from Liga MX clubs for him.
Oh well, but I didn't hear that.
Yeah, but I personally think the reason, here's my theory. I think the reason he went to Everton is because he doesn't want to tarnish his León legacy, his Fiera legacy, by going to a Pumas or a Chivas or a Tijuana, potentially playing against us during the season, maybe in the playoffs, and then, being seen as, in another jersey, right? And then coming back and retiring with León. It's like that would kind of put a different stamp on his legacy. And he has 1.5 years left. So if he's off to Chile for 1 year, that means he'll be back for one more season, which he himself said he's going to be back. So I guess that's the plan, to bring him back in a year and bring him off the bench like we did Nacho Gonzalez, have him right off into the sunset with a title, maybe. Right?
I don't know. I kind of just being there, and I just kind of got the impression that this was it, as a player anyway, with Club León. I could be wrong, but
yeah, he kept saying he was going to be back. He was on
La Última Palabra. I think he's talking about in a coaching capacity or something. I don't know.
He did say that. He said, as a director, corpo técnico, I don't know yet. He said, right now, I want to keep playing, and we'll see what happens. I mean, he does.
The dude definitely has a future. He has a future for as long as he wants it in the game, as a coach or a commentator or whatever you like. I mean, he's and I know the doors will be open for him to do any of those things in Leon.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back as a player. That's my. We'll talk again in a year.
We'll talk again
That's
in
what
a
I'm
year.
thinking. That's what
I
I'm
think
thinking
he'll be
right
back.
now.
I think he'll be back.
Well, maybe he just wanted an exotic South American adventure. I don't know. And he's had enough former colleagues who have played at Everton. I'm sure he was in contact with Ismael Sosa. I'm sure Di Iorio played there.
Maxi Cerato.
Maxi.
Ezequiel Cuevas, probably one of the worst refuerzos that Leon ever had during my time following the team, is still playing there.
Torrente was the coach there.
Coached there. So did who came after Torrente?
Is Chavo Diaz?
Yeah, Chavo Diaz. I think also coached there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean,
he's got two former colleagues that are on the team right now with Cuevas and Ismael Sosa.
Yeah,
so
it's a slower league too. I mean, it's nowhere near the level of a Liga MX. So playing there, he can recuperate his level. Maybe he can get in shape. Really, I don't know. Just try to make that run to try to come back.
Who knows? He might do really well. He might
do
really well there, and if he does, I mean, I don't think it's probably not going to be that easy to watch his games, but try to catch some of them here and there.
Yeah,
definitely. Let me see if I can get the video of him saying a couple words if it loads.
when he cried.
I cried.
Oh man, I choked up.
No, I didn't. It just not doing it. It's not going. But yeah, his words, because so this is the thing. Cowboys were playing as well, so I had both the games on. so for the halftime, obviously they did the video of Chapo and all that, and I was like, oh, that's really nice. I was like, well, he's gonna talk. When we started talking and choking up, like I'm like tearing. And Tom was like looking at me. I was like, it's so sad. Like it's the end of an era. I was literally tearing up. It was very emotional to see that.
Yeah,
I wasn't tearing up. I was too angry about the fact that we were losing the game at that point. Like I know that should have been secondary, given the situation, but I was so aggravated about that.
Yeah, it is the end of an era. I mean, Luis Montes, what he meant to this club, what he meant to the league. I mean, just a pure magician, man. Like he's one of those rare players that we may never get to see. And I told you guys, we may never get to see this type of player on Leon again.
Well, especially because his position, as I mentioned, is a dying breed. There aren't a lot of true number 10s in Liga MX anymore. Actually, in Europe, in the European game, they're being phased out almost entirely. They still have some place over on this side of the world, but I mean, they're also getting phased out. The teams are depending way more on their wingers to create, and there isn't really there isn't a true number 10 enganche, pure enganche like that anymore. Not too many of them anyway.
Yeah, my man Chapito, man, we're gonna miss him.
We are. I mean, I know we've talked throughout all the other episodes, and I know if anybody's listening, we've gone back and forth. I think at the end of the day, we know that Chapito has always been there. I know he's been with us through ups and downs, and we've had our frustrations, but at the same time, I mean, he gave us a lot, even before Leon came came back a la Primera División. I mean, that was just a lot. It's a lot of memories. Like you think about it, it's like crazy to what point we are now, and now Chapo's leaving. So it does feel like, well, let's turn over a new chapter of a new book. I mean, Larcamon I guess they asked him about the whole Chapito thing, and he's like, I told him, like, basically, in other words, like, he wasn't going to play, and,
you're
what
going to
else are you supposed to do with that?
That you're going to have protagonismo más relativo, was I think the word he used, to basically saying, I have the utmost respect for what you mean to this club, but you're still not going to play.
And it took
a different direction.
It took Larcamon to say that he wouldn't listen to Holland, he wouldn't listen to Paiva, and somehow Larcamon got it through his head. That's what it had. It's what it took, and it took him having to leave too.
Well, I think it took someone like Larcamon, who's had success in this league already, with very modest rosters. Like he knows who he needs to have on his squad to thrive, and he just didn't think that that was going to be Chapo anymore, and so this is what we get.
Yeah,
and I think this was the last domino that needed to fall for the much needed culture change, culture rebuild, if you will, to finally occur in earnest in this club.
I mean, I would throw maybe an Elias Hernandez in there still.
Yeah, but he's also not going to be. I would be surprised if he plays anything close to regular minutes this season.
Yeah, but he's
with all
still
the other
one of
weapons
those
that we have.
Yeah, but he's still one of those older heads who's like, hey, I've been here a little longer than you are. Show some respect. He might have a little bit more control in the locker room than others.
Yeah, you might be right
because of that. So, yeah.
Well, we'll see if Canaranculo releases a later podcast about it. Just kidding. But yeah, farewell, Chapo. We'll see what happens and what form he will return when that happens. So there was obviously video footage of Davila joining him at the airport. So I thought that was really nice.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool too.
Yeah.
It turns out you never know what kind of relationship these guys really have, off the field. And I thought that was a nice
of the
image.
Jersey.
Yeah, like
on the second goal.
by dudes who you wouldn't necessarily be sure were like Chapo's bros,
And it was the idea of Angel Mena's son. Angel Mena's son was the one that you guys saw that. Angel Mena's son was the one that told Mena, hey, if you score, I want you to lift Chapo's jersey, and he did it.
Really, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Romo tweeted it.
Yeah,
I
did see that.
Nice. But it is interesting because in every club, obviously there's certain cliques per se, or you don't know if like the extranjeros just hang out with the extranjeros, so they do mix in with the Mexicans, or who's cool with who. So it was really nice that
there
like
was,
you guys said, we saw a different side of it.
The day after the match, I believe, was Ivan Moreno's birthday. There was another image that came out of a few different guys celebrating that. And it was a nice mix of people. I think Diorio was there, Canelo was there. I don't remember exactly who else, but it was an interesting mix of players that I'm like, I'm glad these guys get along. Some of them, they've just really met, and I'm glad they've clicked. I'm glad they've bonded. That's good for team chemistry to see something like that.
Yeah, and I think if we look at our roster, because I know obviously we know like maybe in certain teams, or we assume the better choice of words, like, oh, he must be very like, high maintenance, or they, but I think like here now, if we look at the roster, I think everybody seems like no one seems more above of someone else per se when they like how they carry themselves.
Yeah,
can't think of anyone.
So hopefully that's very healthy team throughout this whole season. Us that will need it. And Arturo also said the GOAT, Jorge Diaz Bryce, played there too. Yes, and I'm like, why do we still have Bryce?
Is he a registered member of the roster?
He's registered with the roster. I don't understand. I feel like we get a moment of like frustration, and then like we forget about him, but then it's like he's still there, like he's still registered with the team, like he hasn't moved. Not planning on moving anywhere.
Maybe they just use him for sparring during practices. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that story ever ends with another ending. Yeah, so all in all, Lilini took another L with Necaxa. I was watching the game on Marca Claro, and the guys were like, Lilini has bad memories here. Remember when me and Javi were at that game. Shout out to Javi. And we were losing 3-0 to Pumas.
Oh, that comeback.
And then, we made the comeback, and there, it was kind of funny remembering that. Also, Leon played with the fabulous jersey that me and Louis have. Carlos, do you like it? Do you want it, or you'll pass on purchasing it?
I think I'll pass on this one. I mean, I don't have anything against it. I don't know. I'm more of a traditional colors type of guy. Just give me the traditional green,
Esmeralda
green, and just put the crest on there. Put as many ads as you want, but just give me the colors that. Just give me the team colors, the traditional team colors, and I'm good.
So what do we think about the practice jersey that came out with like the other lion Aztec print?
Oh.
I think it's pretty harmless.
I mean, it's a practice jersey. I don't care.
But aren't all the Charlie ones like that because who else came out with a jersey like that?
Querétaro, Tijuana, who else?
I think
Pachuca.
I was like,
the Pachuca ones look pretty ridiculous with the gopher. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Not a huge fan.
Not a huge fan.
Yeah.
Also, when Chapo Montes came out with like the burgundy and like bunny on the top, I was like, "What is he wearing? This is his despedida, and he's wearing like a burgundy sweater with a bunny on it." And then I was like, "Oh, he changed for halftime to his jersey." Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, cool. So moving on. Did you guys catch any other games that weekend?
I saw probably.
I saw most of the Tigres Pachuca match. I think that was the only one.
I watched that one.
So we had Atlas beating Mazatlan 2-1. San Luis Chivas 0-0. I don't think I watched that one.
Me neither.
It's harder to watch games now because they're all on ViX Plus.
Yeah.
Not like it used to be, unfortunately.
They should like make up their mind. It's like, which platform are they going to be on? They just keep switching back and forth. Like,
they're just trying to make money any way they can.
You have to have multiple subscriptions now.
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So some of these games I couldn't watch because I'm like, I'm not gonna. And at the end, I was thinking, I was like, I think I saw like a tweet or something like all these games are gonna be on ViX Plus. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to get it eventually. And now I got a free trial last time. I was paying for it, but it's just frustrating. Like, it's either like here in Mexico, it's ViX Plus, it's Fox Sports Premium, it's Izzy, it's all these like stupid streaming. I was like, I think there was a lot of tweets this weekend about like, how come it's easier to watch NFL in Mexico, but not even Liga MX? Like, you have to get all these streams. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, NFL Game Pass. I got that. Work in NFL Game Pass International. One platform every single game, including even the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. They just know that we're gonna pay for all these platforms. That's why they do it.
I'm not going to. I mean, I'm gonna be at almost every Leon match, and if I can't watch any other Liga MX games, well, then I won't watch them. I'll watch the ones that I'm able to.
Puebla beat Querétaro 2-0, which Querétaro has just gone super low. I have no idea what their situation looks like, who's still playing there, who's not.
It's so frustrating to watch them play. I was watching that game. It's so frustrating. Yeah. Like they just, I don't know. They're just so frustrating to watch. If you guys watch Querétaro, just be ready to like punch a wall or something because it's so frustrating to watch these guys.
Has it ever not been that way with them?
It's been like that for a while. Yeah,
it's even worse this season.
Cruz Azul lost to Monterrey 3-2. Juárez beat Tijuana 3-0. Toluca and America drawing 2-2. Santos beating Pumas 3-0 without Dani Alves, and I just saw a report that Dani Alves will not be playing. So this upcoming Sunday in the Leon.
Carlos and I were talking about that before we went on the air.
Yeah.
So I won't get to see 40-year-old Dani Alves play live.
I didn't get to see Dani Alves this past weekend either. I was like, that's the only player I'm looking forward to watch is Dani Alves, and I was like, oh, he's not playing. Well, great.
I mean, if these allegations are true, we might never see him play in Liga MX again.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him. Anyways. Tigres beating Pachuca 4-1, which stunned the whole world, and obviously our victory 2-1 versus Necaxa. So this upcoming weekend, jornada 3, Mazatlan versus Santos, Friday night Botanero, as well as Xolos versus Tigres. Saturday, we have Monterrey versus San Luis, América versus Puebla, Necaxa versus Cruz Azul, Chivas versus Toluca. Alexis Vega will be out. Sorry, Louis. I just like Alexis Vega. He's I like him. He's as a player.
I know.
And
I know you do.
Out.
I wasn't sad about that in the least bit, though.
He will be out. He won't be back till like jornada 13 or 14 or something like that.
Good. He's a prima donna. He shouldn't even be in this league.
Hey, déjalo. Chivas Toluca Saturday night. Sunday, we'll definitely talk about our preview of Pumas versus Leon. It's 12 o'clock game. As always, great to watch with the sun. Querétaro versus Atlas Sunday, and then Pachuca versus Juarez on Sunday. No Monday night games. But yeah, Louis, you making the trip to Seoul?
Yes, I will be there, and then the plan is to stay in and around Mexico City for the week because our following game is at Toluca.
So you're posting a whole week.
That's the plan for now. I don't. I'm on vacation still from my work, so I don't have to be. I don't have to be in Guanajuato for any reason during the next week. So yeah, the plan is to stay the week in Mexico City and then head to Toluca for another high noon affair, another Sunday at high noon match, and then from there come home.
Wait, what? Did you say Toluca?
Yeah, our
yeah,
following
that'll be
match.
The following Sunday.
The following week is also away at Toluca.
Yeah.
Wow, so you got 2 trips down to Mexico City.
Well, that's why I'm going to stay the week.
So if he stays the whole week, then he'll be there for 2 games, which is
nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. At the Toluca Stadium looks really nice.
It's very nice.
Go to that one.
Any other games you're going to catch besides Leon?
You know, I haven't really thought about it. If there's another game going on in
maybe Cruz Azul,
the Azteca that's feasible
or
to go to. I haven't really checked the schedule. I don't know what's going on the rest of the weekend, but probably not.
Some time.
Because I'm planning on getting in on Saturday. I don't know, depending on how early I get in. Maybe if there's a game Saturday night, I guess look at that right now. But
Arturo Ruiz, what's your guys' favorite Chapo Montes goal with Leon? Mine is either his chilena versus Chivas or his free kick against Tigres.
That's a good question.
I'm gonna go with his goal against Toluca.
That was a good one
during COVID, because that was his MVP season, and that was, I think it was the last game of the season, right?
It was the last game of the season.
So it was like the cherry on top.
Oh yeah,
it was the cherry on top to his MVP season, and I mean just the way he bent it, and what a goal!
I got a couple of choices. I think in that same season, but in like jornada 3, he had a great long range strike against Rayados at home, and that ended up being the game winning goal, 1-0. I don't remember if that was the night it had rained and the pitch was in terrible condition. And,
against Rayados, right?
Against Monterrey, yeah.
Oh, what a goal!
At home. Yeah, that one is definitely up there for me. I remember the free kick against Tigres. That was an all-time great game, regular season game anyway. I remember that one.
I remember that game.
Also, even though it was in a loss, the goal he scored at the Volcan against Tigres, in the semifinal.
With the gray jersey.
In the semifinal with the gray jersey, yeah.
That's the one I was watching. That I like.
We took the lead, and he scored it with his right. He scored that one with his right, and it was a great strike with his right.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I'd ever been to a game at the Volcan, and the crowd got absolutely silent when that happened. It happened it was pretty early on in the game, and then we all know what happened after that. And if there had been VAR in those days, we might have gone through. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It was a loss, but that was still one of the great goals. And then also the one, just a little dribbler that he scored against in that same liguilla against Xolos to put that series away when we had gone down 3-0 after being up 3-0 in our home leg, and it looked like we were going to get eliminated. And then Boselli scored, and then a couple minutes later, Chapo scored to really put the nail in the coffin. That was a good one too. Yeah,
Chapo's had crazy goals.
For me, like
Yeah.
they're more meaningful when they contribute to something like really, really, what more so than the quality of the goal itself. But there have been some bangers too.
Bangers, yeah.
Ricardo Serrano. Hola, chavos. Arriba la fiera. ¿Cómo ven lo del Chapo?
Oh.
Era hora.
Ya era su tiempo.
Ya era su tiempo. Su destino. Like, what'd you say, Carlos? He'll come back and walk into the, what'd you say? It was like so
Right into the sunset, like Nacho Gonzalez with that title. That was a storybook ending, by the way.
It was, and it makes you realize how rare storybook endings are. Like Nacho Gonzalez is really the only one I can think of. Boselli didn't have a storybook ending, and honestly, he's still playing really well for Estudiantes.
Sí.
But Nacho's like you realize it never happens like that, and it makes you appreciate how special that was.
Yeah.
And like they wanted to bring him back for another tournament, and he's like, no. This is where let's make it a perfect ending. This is where it stops, and maybe Chapo could have done that too. But I get it. He still has something to give.
You know what's crazy? I was walking my dog this week, and I was thinking to myself, man, I remember that hot take. It was maybe like 2 years ago when I said my hot take was Chapo Montes should hang up the boots, should retire. You remember that? You remember that hot take?
I do remember
he should
that.
retire. Retire while you're a winner, while you're a champion.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah. And you guys were like, no, what are you talking about? You're crazy, Carlos.
Well,
it's just hard for.
I still think I wouldn't have agreed with you then, but
Yeah.
Now it wouldn't even be a hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point in time, I feel like we have to understand, like, imagine him, like, it must be a really hard decision to decide when. Obviously there's some players for like health reasons, like Cunagüero had to stop playing because of, his condition, but it's like, can you imagine like that decision? Like, is it like something that they just leave it and they keep playing, and then like so much time has passed and they're like, oh, like now maybe like now Chapo's just thinking about that. Maybe a lot of people were pressuring, but he just wants to play, and like, when is that decision gonna be made?
Yeah.
It's hard when you think about it. Like, they've been working their whole life to play and they get it, and it's like, well, when do you say goodbye? When's a good time to say goodbye and stop playing? It may come easier to some players and maybe other players like Chapo. It's just maybe he'll play, I don't know, until he's 40 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you fall in love with the game. It's your job. It's your life.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just thinking, is he bringing his whole family down there? Like, is he uprooting? He uprooting
They're all
his kids.
Going.
He's uprooting his kids from the only home they've ever known. I mean, I guess having an adventure like that as a kid, they'll probably eventually all come back to Leon anyway. But I guess they can have this adventure.
There's got to be more to the deal, though. Like, there's got to be more to the deal. There's got to be like some fine print that says like, take this deal, and when you come back, we'll have a coaching job for you somewhere here.
I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, the Martinez have been there since day one with him. They've both together constructed to where they are now. I mean, apart from, the professional relationship, I mean, you can't take away the fact that they are good friends and they look out for each other, and he's looking out for him and probably offer him, look, you're not going to play. This is the option I have. And Chapo's, took it. And like Louis said, it's an adventure, at least for the kids, because all they've known is Mexico. And if this is
all they've known is Leon.
Something, yeah, then so be it. I mean,
shout out to all the fans who, for like the last year, were like, Chapo out, like, get him out of here. And then like he leaves and they're like, no, why is he leaving?
Well,
I think maybe
it's a hard thing to reconcile.
The way we wanted him to leave, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to reconcile. It's one thing is whether he still has a place with today's team, and another thing is everything he's done is legendary tenure with the club. It's kind of hard to. It's really hard to find a balance with those two ideas.
Definitely. Arturo said it's crazy that he played his final match against Tldp, the person who discovered him.
Last season? Wait.
He played.
What was the final match last season?
I think he means that he had his send off.
Oh, okay.
Against Lilini.
Yeah, because he didn't play last season, right? I mean, he didn't play this Monday.
No, but I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah. See, and I was surprised that he didn't play. Like I was like, oh, he's gonna play one match and go. You know, not like play like some of the first half and then mitad they have that and then that's it. Not like he wasn't gonna play at all and it was like really just.
No, I think as soon as you sign, like it's the other team that dictates like. Do you want him to play? Do you want him to practice? It's like, no. As soon as I say no, like, you're the other team's property now. So, as bad as that sounds.
Oh, he meant his farewell.
Yeah, his farewell.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I'd forgotten that Lilini discovered him, but I remember, now that it's coming back to me, I remember them talking about that.
In Indios, right? Was it Indios? Pretty sure it was Indios. Arturo, was he in Indios when he discovered him? Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I think Chapo went from Indios to Pachuca to León. I think those are the 3 teams he was on. Can't remember. Let's see if Arturo knows.
Arturo, if you're listening.
Watch, he logged off right now.
Just said that and left. No, we're kidding, Arturo. Okay, so looking into this weekend, as we know, sorry, Louis, you don't get to see Dani Alves either. I didn't either.
Yeah, I'll be able to sleep at night. Don't worry.
Rafa Puente has this team. I don't know. I think obviously he's had a bad track record before, so I guess him reaching out to Pumas and Pumas giving him the job. It'll be interesting to see how he does with this team the rest of the season. In regards to León, obviously we're surprised Larcamon starting with our base of lineup that we know. Slowly subbed in a couple of transfers. What are we expecting for Sunday? Are we expecting a more mixed of throwing in a couple of transfers, or is Larcamon going to play it slow again?
I mean, I expect the bulk of the starters who started on Monday to start again. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there.
Well, the way Barreiro left the game, I don't imagine he will be available.
I'd put a Belon in there, right?
My guess would be Belon unless Frias is convocado and they want to go with him. But my guess would be Belon. And it'll be interesting to see if he goes with the Aiel again, or if he goes with Ivan after that, showing that he had that best.
I hope he goes with Ivan, to be honest.
Pumas has one of the worst defenses, by the way. They've received 4 goals in 2 games. So I expect a high-scoring game from our end, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot is made about playing at high noon in that stadium is not ideal, but really, León's recent performance there has been very positive. They lost the last match that they played there, but I think they won the previous 3 or something like that. So I mean, it's not a place that over the years, me going to see games played there, I have fond memories of coming out of that stadium with wins.
And there's a lot of León fans there too.
And there will be a large contingent in Cabecera Sur of León fans.
Yeah.
There always are.
They always are. Arturo said, yes, sorry, working, but yes, it was Indios.
Yep.
I'm hoping to see more of Romero.
Romero?
Yeah, Romero. He could be a surprise. He could be a surprise start. I mean, it depends on what they want to go with. I mean, I don't think they're going to play with both Ivan and Perro. I don't think just the way they have the Ambriz in there, kind of playing as a center back, but also a libero. Like I just don't think they're going to have Ambriz, Perro, and Ivan, Jose Ivan, El Jefecito in the game at the same time. But he could be a surprise starter. You never know. I expected him to start in the last match, and he did not. But
Yeah,
he could.
me too.
He could be a surprise starter.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I don't know what Canelo's status is. I mean, he was kind of like the big move of the offseason, and he didn't. I mean, I don't know if he's completely match fit. He is coming off of a major injury. So, but I mean, I would maybe expect to see him get minutes as a substitute. I would hope so.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's with this season, obviously under 5 new transfers and the new coach, we're gonna have maybe these first couple of games trying to figure out like where everybody fits, where they best play at, with what Larcamon, how he plans on playing and stuff like that. So until we get past that, I think we can become a little bit more predictable of what we think the starting lineup gonna look like.
Yeah,
Right now, I think we're all over the place.
It's a little hard to say right now because
yeah,
I don't think he's going to use the same tactics that he used at Puebla. I think you're playing with a little higher caliber players now, in a deeper squad. So maybe there's a little more shuffling since you have a deeper squad. Maybe you want to solidify a starting 11. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, definitely. Arturo said they need to play Saul Zamora more. I think everybody just needs to play, right? Except for Bryce. Everybody needs to play.
See, the thing with Saul Zamora is he has so much competition. Yeah. There's so many midfielders right now that are above him, and unless one of them or two of them goes down, he's probably going to stay in La Sub-20.
And even right now, we have obviously Byron down and Avion down, and even then, we still have a lot of competition with the squad. So
yeah,
I think it's crazy to think about that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Pumas. Guys, anything else before we go?
Are we into predictions?
Prediction time.
Yes, prediction time. I just saw tweet opción de compra por Plátano. His opción de compra is $5 millones. I
don't think we're gonna do that.
I don't think we're gonna do that. No, I don't think so. But it was good for him at least to get some minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to prediction time. Anybody in the comments and the chats, let us know what your prediction is for Leon versus Pumas, and let's go to prediction time.
Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time.
We had to bring that one back, Louis.
Going old school. Yeah, that's fine.
Louis, what is your prediction?
Well, it's kind of a tough one. I want to see a little bit more cohesion as compared to match day 1 in the attack going forward. I thought the defensive shape was pretty good, and the order, el orden defensivo was a little bit more solid than we've come to expect it. Obviously, Necaxa had very, very few chances. Puma's attack is a little bit more potent, but I want to see more cohesion in our attack. I want to get them. I want to put the pressure on a little bit earlier on in the game. Like you said, Carlos, Puma's defense has been shaky to start out, and we want to catch them while they're still figuring things out on that end as best we can. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think we could go in there and get a 2-0, if I'm being honest. And so I'm going to go with a 2-0.
Okay, 2-0. Arturo also agrees with you. He says 2-0 goles de Mena y Jairo. Carlos, your prediction for Sunday matchup?
I like playing at Seoul. I don't remember when we lost there, but I have nothing.
The last time we played there, we lost.
Oh, okay. But I have good memories there. One of those being JJ Macias scoring there, coming back in the first leg of the final. That dude who played with Dorados, what's his name? He scored that goal.
Yeah, Vinicio Angulo.
Vinicio Angulo scoring there.
Yeah.
So
match. Yeah.
So many good memories there. And I think we'll have more memories to talk about this upcoming game. I think we're gonna have high scoring game, like I predicted. I think we're gonna score 3 goals, but I think Pumas might get one back. So 3-1 for me. Goles Mena, Jairo, Davila. Yoda is gonna go on a drought this season. What do you guys think?
I hope not.
I do think he will be a little bit disappointing this season. I mean, he's still going to get some. He's still going to get his share, but I don't think he's going to show a ton of improvement as compared to last season. He'll be lucky to get to his same total. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But he might not have to. We have more weapons now.
Yep, exactly.
Arturo said plot twist, the Bryce comes in and scores a hat trick. Even if he did that, I still can't. I can't get past it. It's just my personal feelings. Also saying Chapo Montes fair play, and so how can we forget about that one?
That's right.
Such a good
You're
one.
Right.
I'm gonna go with a 2-1. Except for the past one, I agree with Carly. They had good memories, and so I'm gonna go with a 2-1. I'm gonna give Pumas 1 goal. I mean, if we come out, if we're able just to not let one in, that'd be awesome. But I'm gonna say 2-1, but I'm also gonna say that we win. So that will be interesting. And who are we playing after Pumas? We said Toluca, right?
Toluca.
Which we'll meet again with our lovely friend Ambris.
That's a tough game.
Because they play Chivas, so I'll be watching that game, and then we'll see how we meet up. It's still early on in the season when we meet, so we'll see how that looks at that time. But that was our prediction time. What do you think, guys? We're good to go?
I think so.
Good to go.
Good to go. So we play Sunday. We'll see if we play either Monday or Wednesday.
Monday or Wednesday next week, guys. Arturo and the other dude who was around here. Yeah, so Monday or Wednesday, right? Monday. I'm trying to think of my schedule. Monday, Wednesday. We'll see. Monday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, Louis. Monday or Wednesday?
Sure.
Okay, cool. But yeah, guys, if for any reason you will be missing the match on Sunday, it's 12:00 Central.
10
whatever time you're
Pacific.
watching.
Yeah, 10 Pacific.
Brunch?
Right.
Or breakfast?
Still breakfast.
Still breakfast.
Yeah.
Breakfast time. If you're missing out the game, don't forget to follow at Club Leon EN to keep you updated with the live updates of the game. Arturo said he will be back next week to comment. Feels good to find people who speak about Leon in English. Of course, you're more than welcome.
And he's a Cowboys fan.
And yes, pray, Arturo, I'm with you. Cowboys play on Sunday as well. It was funny because obviously Monday it was Cowboys game and Leon game. I told Tom, I was like, they both need to win. I was like, if anything, maybe the Cowboys need to win more than Leon. I can pass them on, but the Cowboys lose, we're eliminated. So it will be an interesting Sunday because both Leon and Cowboys play. So yes, Arturo, I'll be wearing my Leon jersey first, and then take it off, and I'll throw my Cowboys jersey on after. Good to be interesting. But yeah, Arturo, either Monday or Wednesday. Just follow us on social media. We'll definitely let you know when we pod. Shout out to Javi that couldn't make it, but he's always popping up on my Twitter feed. But yeah, guys, so thank you guys for joining us. Talk about everything Club Leon in English. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Let us know what your thoughts are. And we'll definitely be back next week to talk about what happened this weekend. Hopefully a good one. Louis, are we going to get a dance if we win?
If we win, sure.
Yeah.
And if I can find someone to film it.
Yeah, we haven't seen those in a while.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have very many road wins last season. We only had 2 or 3.
Start practicing. Yeah. Shake off the rust.
I think we may have only had 2 last season. First match day in San Luis, and then against Tigres. I think those were the only 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
We need to shake off the dust off.
Yeah.
Start dancing again. Okay, guys. Hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week on another episode of the Lions Den Podcast.